Hey everyone, and welcome back to Explore with Uzi. Today, we're diving deep into the demographics of the top 10 whitest countries in the world. This isn't about promoting any kind of racial superiority, it's about understanding global demographics, the historical factors that have shaped them, and the ever-changing tapestry of cultures around the world. We'll be traveling from the windswept landscapes of Iceland to the bustling cities of Australia, exploring how history, culture, and migration patterns have shaped these nations' demographic makeups. All right, let's get to it. Chapter 1. Iceland. Land of fire, ice, and homogeneity. Our first stop takes us to the North Atlantic island nation of Iceland, a land famed for its stunning glaciers, active volcanoes, and surprisingly homogeneous population. Iceland, with a population smaller than many cities at just around 370,000 people, has a history of limited immigration and emigration. For centuries, its remote location and harsh climate made it less than ideal for mass migration, leading to a population largely descended from the original Norse and Celtic settlers. Iceland's tourism industry is booming, bringing in more and more people from diverse backgrounds. Plus, as globalization marches on, it'll be interesting to see how Iceland's demographics might shift in the coming decades. Chapter 2. Finland, Saunas, Sibelius, and a surprising statistic. From the volcanic landscapes of Iceland, we travel east to Finland, a land of 1,000 lakes, innovative design, and yes, you guessed it, saunas. Finland, like its Nordic neighbor Iceland, consistently ranks high in global whiteness indexes. The Finnish language, part of the Uralic language family, is notoriously tricky to learn for non-native speakers, contributing to a sense of cultural separation from mainland Europe. However, the story of Finland's demographics isn't static. With increasing globalization and the rise of Finland as a tech hub, the country has seen a slow but steady increase in immigration in recent decades. This influx of new residents is gradually changing the face of Finnish society, making it a fascinating case study in how even the most seemingly homogeneous countries are experiencing demographic shifts in the 21st century. Chapter 3. Sweden, from Vikings to Volvo, a demographic shift. Next up on our demographic world tour is Sweden, a nation known for its minimalist design, progressive social policies, and of course, those delicious cinnamon buns. Sweden, with a population just over 10 million, has long been considered one of the most ethnically homogeneous countries in Europe. However, in recent decades, Sweden has experienced a more significant shift in its demographics compared to Iceland or Finland. The country's open-door refugee policy, particularly in response to the Syrian civil war, has led to a notable increase in its foreign-born population. This influx of newcomers has sparked debate within Sweden about national identity, integration, and the changing face of Swedish society. So, while Sweden still ranks high on the list of countries with predominantly white populations, its recent demographic shifts demonstrate that the concept of national identity is far from static. Chapter 4. Norway, Fjords, Folklore, and a tight-knit society. Hold on to your hats, folks, because we're heading north to Norway, a land of breathtaking fjords, captivating folklore, and you guessed it, a surprisingly homogeneous population. Norway, with a population just over 5 million, shares a similar demographic story with its Nordic neighbors. However, what sets Norway apart, even among its Scandinavian counterparts, is its emphasis on social cohesion and a strong welfare state. In recent decades, the country has seen an increase in immigration, primarily from other European nations and increasingly from the Middle East and Africa. Norway's robust social safety net and emphasis on integration have, to some extent, mitigated the social and cultural frictions that can sometimes arise in countries experiencing rapid demographic shifts. Chapter 5. Denmark, Hygge, Hans Christian Andersen, and a homogeneous heritage. Get ready for some Hygge, folks, because we're venturing to Denmark, a land of charming fairy tales, modern design, and yes, a predominantly white population. Denmark, with a population slightly smaller than Norway at around 5.8 million, boasts a rich history as a seafaring nation, a center of trade, and the birthplace of beloved author Hans Christian Andersen. Historically, Denmark, like its Scandinavian neighbors, remained relatively isolated from large-scale migration due to its geographical location and strong cultural identity. In recent decades, the country has experienced a gradual increase in immigration, primarily from other European Union nations, as well as from Turkey, Iraq, and Somalia. Chapter 6. Switzerland. Chocolate, cheese, and a multicultural surprise. Hold on to your Swiss Army knives, folks, because we're about to climb the Alps and explore the unique demographic landscape of Switzerland. While Switzerland consistently ranks high on lists of countries with predominantly white populations, it also boasts a surprisingly diverse population, with around 25% of its residents being foreign-born. Switzerland's central location in Europe has made it a crossroads for trade and migration for centuries. Its strong economy, renowned banking system, and tradition of neutrality have also attracted immigrants from all over the world, seeking economic opportunity and a safe haven. Switzerland has 4 official languages: German, French, Italian, and Romansh. This linguistic diversity reflects the country's history as a confederation of cantons, each with its own distinct cultural identity. Grab your toques and some poutine because we're heading to the Great White North, specifically Canada, well, excluding Quebec for now. Canada, known for its stunning natural beauty, friendly people, and of course its love of hockey, presents a fascinating case study in our exploration of demographics. Historically, the country's population was largely comprised of indigenous peoples and descendants of European colonists, primarily from Britain and France. However, in the 20th century, Canada underwent a significant demographic shift, embracing multiculturalism and opening its doors to immigrants from all corners of the globe. This influx of newcomers, particularly from Asia, Africa, and the Caribbean, has transformed the social and cultural fabric of Canadian society. Chapter 8. New Zealand, land of the long white cloud, and a Maori minority. Get ready for some stunning scenery and fascinating cultural contrasts as we journey to New Zealand, the land of the long white cloud. Historically, New Zealand was populated by the indigenous Maori people, who arrived from Polynesian islands centuries ago. European colonization, beginning in the 18th century, brought a significant influx of British settlers, forever altering the demographic makeup of the islands. Today, New Zealand's population is predominantly of European descent, primarily British, with a significant Maori minority making up around 16% of the population. Chapter 9. Australia, from Outback to Opera House, a multicultural mosaic. G'day mates, we're heading down under to Australia, a land of stunning contrasts from its vast outback to its iconic Opera House. Historically, Australia was inhabited by Aboriginal Australians, the oldest living cultures in the world, for tens of thousands of years before European colonization. The arrival of British settlers in the late 18th century marked a turning point, displacing Aboriginal populations and establishing Australia as a penal colony. Over the centuries, Australia has experienced significant waves of immigration, initially from Britain and Ireland, and later from all corners of the globe. Today, while Australia still ranks high on lists of countries with predominantly white populations, its demographics are incredibly diverse. Chapter 10. United Kingdom, from Empire to Diversity, a Demographic Transformation. Right then, let's pop across the globe to the United Kingdom, a land of rich history, royal intrigue, and yes, a changing demographic landscape. For centuries, the UK was a predominantly homogeneous society, with its population largely descended from the Anglo-Saxons, Celts, and Normans. However, the British Empire, spanning vast territories across the globe, brought with it increased contact and migration between the UK and its colonies. In the aftermath of World War II, the UK experienced a wave of immigration from its former colonies, particularly from the Caribbean, India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. This influx of newcomers transformed the social and cultural fabric of the nation. Outro: exploring demographics beyond the numbers. So there you have it, our whirlwind tour of the top 10 whitest countries in the world. We've journeyed from the icy landscapes of Iceland to the sun-drenched shores of Australia, exploring the historical, cultural, and demographic factors that have shaped these nations. Thanks for joining me on this thought-provoking exploration. Don't forget to subscribe to Explore with Uzi for more fascinating journeys into the heart of global issues. Until next time, keep exploring.